Nidra, it's great to have you join us for Mastering CS Candid Leader Insights. This year, 2023, has been full of ups and downs for many, and the field of customer success has been no exception. Could you share your perspective on how this year has been for customer success? Any specific challenges that have been notable for you?
Thank you, Irina, for that question. Deidre Williams here. I would consider customer success this year for a lot of us has been like an apocalyptic film. Something where there was this unforeseeable disaster that we all were thrust into, and we've all literally developed these communities from a survival standpoint. And I would love to unpack a lot of that, but it's been a bit apocalyptic for a lot of us. But what I love about it is if you've seen a lot of those films or read any of those books, there's always this scene at the end where they all come to their community, and it's bright and it's beautiful. And I think that's what's going to happen to us in 2024. But that's a lot of what 2023 has been for a lot of us.
And if you had the opportunity to rewrite it, again, from a CS perspective, what would be one thing that you would do totally different?
The first thing would be to refocus the metrics. I think that part of the reason why we went into this doomsday scenario kicking off 2023 is that we had been focusing on what I would consider outdated, or what I call 3.0 customer success metrics, things that really don't move the needle from a customer perspective, and more importantly, things that don't necessarily highlight customer success in the eye of the C-suite. Things like usage metrics, things like sentiment metrics. Those things are wonderful, but we really need to be moving forward and looking at driving value for the customer, and more importantly, driving revenue for our stakeholders and the companies in which we work. So if I had to change anything, I would refocus the metrics going forward, which is what I plan to do.
I'm gonna go straight because it's very intriguing. I'm intrigued about what you said. So I wanna step directly into the challenges part, and then I'll go back. And I wanna ask you, as a C-level executive, I'm sure you faced various challenges when you integrated with different CS team. What are the most common ones you've come across in these high-level roles? And to simplify it, what is the biggest challenge for an executive CS leader?
It's twofold, regardless of what your role is, regardless of what organization, at least for me, because I've been very fortunate to be with large enterprise organizations as well as, series startups. So I've seen it across the board, and I've been an individual contributor, but obviously most recently an executive. I would say first and foremost, it's a lack of data, particularly accurate data. So regardless of what your role is, if you're going to be successful, you have to have access to data that you can utilize to build out dashboards so that you can report to your C-suite, but more importantly, and your boards, for those of you that are working in privately held companies, and then also that you can provide accurate insights to your customers, because that way you can drive value. So first and foremost, it's a lack of data, particularly what I would call data clarity. And the second thing is it's really a lack of clear understanding of the role of customer success and the value that customer success can provide both to the organization as well as to the customers that we serve.
Let's deep digger into the data part.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think are the most important key data points? And besides that part, how do you make sure that you separate the noise? Because what I'm surprised that you say that it's a lack of data, because I know that at least in customer success, we tend to measure everything. So we want to start by measuring everything, by aggregating a lot of data sources, and then we don't know what does the data tell us. So it feels like a paradox to me.
It is. However, and I'm gonna start with the fact that everything is contextual. So yes, we do have access to a lot of data, and yes, a lot of it is noise, but it goes back to what I said. It was focusing on the right metrics. So when I started my career in customer success, we were in what I call customer success 1.0, and it was really all about utilization for our customers and occasionally making sure that they renewed. But we figured out that if they didn't renew, we weren't going to make any revenue. So we shifted. The problem is those metrics are not relevant to our customers. So you can give me all the data you want on usage. You can give me all the data you want on sentiment. I will still have a customer that will churn, and I will still potentially not grow revenue. So in my mind, it needs to be a shift for the right data. But what happens, and you can talk to other individuals in other companies, but I've spoken to quite a few individuals in other companies in both C-level as well as individual contributors. That noise, in some cases, not all, but in some cases, is not accurate data. So as long as I do not have accurate data, I cannot give accurate reporting on the revenue that we can potentially generate. I cannot provide the accurate customer insight so that I can drive value for my customers. So what I need to be able to do is contextually figure out what data is most salient, both for the organization in which I work and the teams that I lead, and more importantly, what data is most salient for the customers that I'm trying to provide value. So how do I determine that? It really is contextually dependent upon what I'm trying to offer to my customer and what I'm trying to achieve for my company. So I hope that answered your question.